of enormous velocity.
Higher.
Thank him.
Knowledge far in advance of our own.
That's a smart thing.
Contact is established. We now transmit you direct.
Item 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is terrific.
Hey guys, welcome back to Item 9. It's Hyra.
And Kim.
I hope you guys are having another fantastic Friday. It's Friday today, right?
Yeah, it's Friday.
Yep, it's Friday. Sorry, we accidentally missed a week. So we're trying to shoot 2 down in one day. Let's do this shit. But luckily you guys will be able to hear them on separate days. So
yeah, on schedule.
On schedule. We're just, I fucked it up. My bad. Please do not blame my goddess Kim here, because she has nothing to do with it. Anyway, like I said, I hope you guys are all having a fantastic week, a fantastic fucking day. We're back here with another story, so we hope you guys enjoy it. So, Kim, had any jams of the week before we start this shit?
This week, let me tell you. So, a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned, like 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that I wanted to watch Hamilton because it had just dropped on Disney+. I have watched Hamilton 3 times now.
3 times? Isn't that shit like fucking like 3 hours long?
3 hours.
Dang.
Yes.
3, 6, 9 hours of your life, Kim. That's like almost a full shift.
Well, I do other stuff, so like, I think the first day, that's when I was moving the stuff back into my room after we got the carpets cleaned. And then another day, I think I just watched it, sat down and just like watched it without doing anything else. And then I watched it yesterday while I was cleaning up and like getting my stuff together for the trip. And I was washing a load of clothes. So I was doing stuff. I cleaned the bathroom while I was watching it. Because there are so many songs that I like. Because I've been listening to the soundtrack on my phone.
Wow.
And so I'm in there cleaning the bathroom, singing with it. No, yeah, it's as good as people have been saying it. But I'm also someone who likes plays. I like musicals. So it's up my alley. So if you're someone that's not up your alley, you're probably not going to enjoy yourself. But then at the same time, if you're someone who, you know, just wants to try it out or likes different types of music, because a lot of it's rap and like pop music, but it's I don't know, because like my niece wanted to watch it and my mom had mentioned it to me, so I gave them my Disney Plus password and stuff. But I told my mom, I was like, it's literally about Alexander Hamilton. Like, it's literally about him.
They made that shit extra fucking delicious. Like, yes, watch this. Because like me thinking about it, I would never be like, let me write something about Alexander Hamilton. Like, shit. Like, I know he's a founding father, but that's about it. And maybe because of the fucking, I think, because DeLolo, she fucking loves Hamilton. Hamilton, like, well, she just likes musicals and plays like that in general. So I feel like I've heard her play the song. And I think in the song, one of the lyrics is like something about him being a founding father or something like that. Is that a lyric?
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's mentioned.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
So.
But yeah.
So
that's what it's about. It's about him, migrating over here, and you know, the Revolutionary War and the establishment of America.
Well, it's crazy.
Like our laws and whatnot.
Did you hear about how he started like writing it or something like that?
I've heard little snippets because he has been working on it for a while.
Yeah, I think they said that he went to like, was it like his house or something like that? And then he just got inspiration there and he just started writing. And like people were all like, nah, man, ain't nobody gonna want to watch shit about Alexander Hamilton. And he's like, nay, they will. And look at us now.
Yeah, because I know he mentions reading like a specific book. Like, someone did, like, a biography on Alexander Hamilton, and he also drew a lot from that book, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's really good. I've seen him, Lin-Manuel Miranda talk about, because because it's not 100% historically accurate.
Oh,
Like,
I was hoping it was.
there's a love triangle. Well, there a lot of it is. Because they already have a Watch Mojo countdown talking about the things that they got right and the things that they got wrong, and they got a lot of things right. But there's like this interesting almost love triangle that's in there, and then his nemesis, apparently they didn't run into each other as many times as they have them run into each other in the play. But for the drama, there are things that have to be changed for the drama. It's still a play. Stuff got to happen.
That's true. Definitely.
To keep it interesting. But it's good. But this is the music's really catchy. Like I was telling you, I feel like you would like it because you're somebody who likes to jam, and I feel like you would be jamming to the music. Yeah.
Like, what is it that you call them?
Good.
Earworms? Like, I love me a good earworm. Like
yeah, when they get stuck in your head.
Like, I don't know why that term still has me a little like, ugh. But I can dig it. I can get behind it. Yeah,
it's good. You should at least try to watch some of it. I like the first half more than the second half, but it's still good. It's weird. There's a minute, like literally a minute intermission in the middle. Like a count, like they all go off stage and the countdown literally shows up for a minute, and then it's the second half of the play. So the first half is him coming to America, and after him and his mom got sick and the mom died, and him trying to go to school and him meeting different people, and then getting into the revolution, and then joining the war, and meeting George Washington and becoming like his assistant, and him really wanting to get out there on the battlefield and all of that. And then after the win, then that's when it goes to intermission. But then the thing is, you have to pay attention or not be high, because there's a couple of actors that play more than one role, and you're gonna be very confused the second half of the play when you're like, wait, I thought this guy was this other guy. Like, he was, now he's this guy.
Like, now he's somebody else. He just put on the wig, man. You didn't catch that shit?
Yeah, they changed outfits. Yeah, they changed outfits and hairstyles. Yeah. But yeah, it's good. So those songs, I've been jamming to that all week.
Oh no, my nose is running all of a sudden. Oh no, coronavirus. Oh my God.
I know, it's like you got the bubonic.
I got the bubonic plague now. Oh, did you hear that? I want to say it's in...
Was it in China? They found an actual case of the bubonic plague. I'm like, don't come over here, because we not making it with this. We definitely ain't gonna make it with that. Don't just shut down the airplane. Nobody goes nowhere. Everybody got to stay where they at right now. Because it's like, we can't listen here. Can't get it together here. Nobody wants to wear a mask here.
I know.
So imagine if people have the actual bubonic plague out here. It's going to literally be the zombie apocalypse in America. People, they're going to close the borders to us. They'll be like, don't bring that over here.
Dang. You know it's serious when people be closing the borders to fucking us. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But haven't they already closed borders down for us already?
I don't know.
Like, my mom, she's not here. She's in her country.
Well, I think some of them were temporarily closed or, like, restricted because of coronavirus. But
yeah, because we're trying to get the bitch back home, but she's all like, there's no flights coming down here. So I don't know.
They don't got, like, a Greyhound she could jump on?
Fuck. Thinking about Greyhound just reminds me of my childhood. Follow that Greyhound. Anyway. But yeah. Anyway.
Did you have any jams of the week?
Did I have a jam of the week? Fuck. I know I did. Because I was enjoying my music on my way home from work. But I can't remember what it is.
You said you were listening to something. I don't know what it was, but it was something.
It was something, and I was enjoying it. And I can't remember what it is. Oh! I know what it is. It's fucking... What's that song called? Uh, it's hard to bust the. It's hard to bust a rhyme that's right. Tricky. That song by Run DMC. Man, I've been fucking enjoying the shit out of that song. Like, I want to say the other, what was it? Last weekend I worked overnight, and I was so tired. Like, I already told you, I was so tired. So on my way home, my music was playing. All of a sudden, Tricky came on, and I was like, "Hey, it's hard to bust a rhyme that's right on time, Tricky." And fucking cars are going around just staring at me because, like, I'm trying to stay awake, driving home safely on the road, and people are just looking at me like, "Fucking bitch, it's a fucking Monday morning, and you're too fucking hyped for this shit." And I'm like, "Y'all don't know fucking night I need this shit." So
you're like, I'm going home.
yeah, like, y'all bitches going in, I'm coming out. Shit. So that song I've been enjoying so much. Like, I can't even put the words in it. Like, it's so good. But yeah. But anyway, it's so funny how you started talking about how Hamilton is kind of like not 100% true to its story, because that brings me to my story. You ready for this shit?
All right, what are we talking about this week?
So last week, I talked about the Amityville murders. Today, I'm talking about the haunting. So, buckle up, because this shit is going to be a spooky roller coaster. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So, we know that the Lutz family was the next family to move into the DeFeo household, 112 Ocean Avenue, which I wish we would have named this episode 112 Ocean Avenue, because I read the book, and if I tell you how many fucking times they fucking mentioned this address, it's fitting for this one to be called 112 Ocean Avenue, because that's all they fucking say in this book. I'm like, okay, I get it. I know what fucking address it is now. Leave me the fuck alone. Just tell me your house.
But, I mean, we can still name it that. It'll just be 112 Ocean Avenue again, question mark.
I like that. Yeah. Because that's actually one of the big things. Like, the family didn't want to talk about what was happening, because that was the thing. Like, we don't want to say that there's something going on 112 Ocean Avenue again. Like, we just got over the murders, we moved in, and now we're gonna what the fuck? So they were just embarrassed. They didn't want people to be thinking like, okay, you guys, come on, chill the fuck out. But anyway, all right. So the Amityville haunting is one of the most publicized hauntings that happened in the early 70s. Like, we do have what the Parrish family haunting, which is another big one. But this one was, also big to that realm. So on the summer of 1975, George and Kathleen Lutz, newlyweds, are looking for a home because they just got married. So Kathleen got married to George Lutz, and she's bringing with her 3 children from her previous marriage. So they both had a smaller house. So now that their family got so large, obviously they're looking for a new one. So 50 houses later, one of their realtors decides to be like...
You said 50 houses later?
50. 50 houses later, yeah. She decides to show them 112 Ocean Avenue, because it is a motherfucking bargain. That house cost them $80,000. It's expensive. Obviously it's expensive, but for a house that was this big, what was 5 bedroom? Well, I have it right here. Hold on.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know the cost of living back in the 70s.
Well, you know what? It was still pretty expensive back then, but for this house, it's a fucking bargain. Like, you're not gonna find this type of mansion over there for 80,000. You're gonna have to find it in $500,000 figures, 3 figures. You know what I mean? Like big 3 figures. So they were just so surprised. So the realtor knows like their kind of like their income, and this one is a little bit on the higher side, but I'm thinking that she thought that they could probably get it because it was like it was affordable. It wasn't like ridiculously out of place. So, she's like, you know what?
It was at a bit of a discount.
Girl, big discount. So, she's all like, let me show you guys how the other half of Amityville lives. Her words. That's what she says. So they go over to the house, and Kathleen, she automatically fucking falls in love with this house. Like, who wouldn't? Fucking a big ass house, fucking a room for each of her kids plus extra rooms. They have a fucking driveway, which right now in this fucking world, driveway, please, yes, add that shit to my place. And it was just in a beautiful area, a very safe area. So, George wants to make her happy. And, for him, it's not only like he wanted to make her happy. It also checked all his boxes. Because with him, he had a boat. And 112 Ocean Avenue has a boathouse in it. So it has a boathouse. Yeah, it's beautiful. Like, they say that boathouse is connected to a little river that eventually gets you out into the ocean. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
That's kind of cool.
Fucking cool. But they have that. They have a fucking pool and shit like that. It's just beautiful. So, not only does it have a boathouse, but George has a land surveying business. And right now he's paying money to have like a separate office somewhere. But since this house is so big, he decides that he can use, I think, like the basement as his office. So not only by getting this house might be a little more expensive, but at the same time, he's going to save some costs. So he doesn't have to pay for that office anymore. And now he doesn't have to pay the fee to dock his boat because it's going to be at his house now. And, still, like, fucking $80,000? That shit's fucking amazing. Oh, do you want to know how much how much $80,000 was worth in 2020? So the $80,000 was from 1975. You want to know how much that cost in 2020?
How much is that?
It costs $420,000, $863.01.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And it was how much did he pay?
80,000.
80. Oh wow, that's a
girl.
That's a lot.
Girl. It's funny because let me keep going with the story, right? So
yeah.
So they go and they're like, fucking shit. This house is so nice. $80,000. We're gonna take this shit. So they tell the lady, we'll take it. But she's like, before you guys commit to buying this house, I gotta let you guys know something. In this house, there was a family that was murdered. And she's like, do you guys remember the DeFeo family? They're like, yeah, they were murdered here. And then they remember, like, that shit only happened, like, a year and a month before they moved in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that was the house?
I think that I don't think that they knew the exact address of the house. I think
they just knew it was around that area.
I think they only knew about the murder. I think they knew about the family who killed them. Like, oh man, look at this rich family who killed themselves. Like, that's sad, But I don't think they knew exactly what house it was. Let alone did they ever in their mind think they were gonna get such a lavish house like that too. But she tells them, like, listen, this house has a really bad history. Do you guys still want it? So they're all like, in the book at least, they say that obviously they wanted the house. They didn't care about the murders because they didn't believe in that kind of stuff. They're like, fuck yeah, we're going to take this house. But let us run it down with the children. So they go and supposedly they tell the kids about what happened. But listen, the kids are young. Danny Lutz was 9 years old. Christopher was 7. And Missy was 5. So at that time, I don't think they could even understand the concept of what being murdered meant.
Yeah.
So, the kids, honestly, the kids really don't have a choice, So the kids are like, well, okay. So they're like, all right, we don't give a fuck. We're buying this shit. So they buy the house, right? And, just to be safe, just on the safe side, they decide to actually get the house blessed. So they call Father Ralph Pecoraro? I don't know. But they call Father Ralph. They have him come and he goes and he blesses the house. And let me tell you what happens to poor father. So he goes into the house, right? And he's doing his regular thing. He's going over there, fucking putting holy water all over the place. And he goes up to the second floor. And on the second floor, he remembers going into what is called the sewing room. So he goes into the sewing room, and he says as soon as he goes into the house, he just starts feeling like a weird fucking vibe. And it starts getting cold. And all of a sudden, fucking flies start appearing.
Oh, like in The Exorcist.
Yeah, like in The Exorcist. Like, flies start appearing. And then, he just, like, he's in there, like, trying to bless his house. You know what? Hold on. Scratch that. I don't think any flies. See, the thing is, sometimes I get confused about what's going on because, like, I saw the fucking Amityville movie and then so, like, sometimes I get confused. Which, and I'll get to that later. But anyway, so, let's say that there were no flies because I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't verify that. But what I will say is that he does hear something demonic tell him, get out.
Okay.
And this is where it gets a little weird because there are two different accounts. Like that priest sometimes says that he just heard the entity tell him to get out. But in another version that he tells, he fucking gets bitch slapped out of there. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like that dude's like, pop, get the fuck out of here. So.
He can't keep his story straight?
That's going to be a problem that's going to happen a lot throughout this story. Once they come out and, start talking about what happened. That is a big issue. Well, there are a lot of different stories kind of told. So that's why it kind of has like this thing where some people like don't believe it. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So that ends up happening to him. And he's literally only in the house for a little bit. Because the people remember that they're downstairs trying to get the movers to bring the stuff in the house, right? And the father comes and he goes and they literally... Like, he literally goes up there for like 5 minutes and comes back down. But the one thing that they are kind of consistent on is that the father doesn't tell them what happened, like, at that moment. Because I think the father is also, like, a little confused, like, what just happened to me? Kind of like, you just got bitch slapped. It's going to take you a minute to register that shit, So,
yeah.
So he's there trying to figure it out. So he just tells them, like, there's something weird, and that's pretty much it. So he leaves, right? And, they continue with their day. So let me tell you about the rooms that the Lutz inhabit, okay? So, obviously, George and Kathleen take the master bedroom. And I don't know if I said this in the DeFeo one, but the master bedroom has, like, what's it called? Mirrors. Like, there are mirrors on the wall. I'm not exactly sure if it's, like, full-on mirrors or if it's, like, tiles of mirrors, to make a big one. But there's mirrors. And, so they end up taking that room. I guess the DeFeo had it, like, as a TV room. So the sewing room was, like, the TV room. Missy had, Allison DeFeo's room. And Danny and Chris shared a bedroom on the third floor, which, come to find out, is Butch DeFeo's room. So remember how I told you, like, in the DeFeo murder, how Butch used to be in the second floor, but then his younger brother got hurt, so he went up to, I think I said to the basement, but I'm contradicting that now. It was up to the third floor, so he went up to the third floor. And come to find out, Chris and Danny shared that bedroom. And then next to that bedroom was a playroom, which used to belong to Don DeFeo. So, priest comes in, he blesses the house, he goes into the sewing room, and he does say that it gets cold, and that pimp hand is strong, and gets him the fuck out, just as he wished. And, like I said, he doesn't tell them. Oh, but I don't know, this is weird, because in the book, the father says he doesn't tell them to get out at that moment, but when the priest gets interviewed, he tells them, like, on that day not to sleep in the room with boxes. But eventually he does tell them, like, at some point he does tell them, like, listen, where the sewing room is, don't nobody sleep there because it's fucking weird in there. So that happens. And after the priest blesses this house, just weird shit starts happening to him. He says on his way there, on his way there, after he leaves, his car starts acting fucking weird. Like, it just stops working. And he's like, what the hell? So he calls one of his priest friends to come get him. And his car also starts getting fucked up too. And they're all like, what the fuck's going on? And the guy's like, I don't know. So this is just like the beginning of like the shit that's happening. So meanwhile, fucking Father Ralph, he dips. And the family's moving in, right? The family has a dog. So this is after, like, they're kind of, settled in for a little bit and stuff like that. They have a dog. So all of a sudden, they just hear the dog going fucking crazy. So, I think Mr. Lutz, George, he ends up getting out to see what's going on. And his dog just going fucking crazy. And next thing he knows is he sees his dog jump over, like, this, like, fence. And take in mind, like, the dog's barking, but he's also on a very long leash, like a very long like chain thing, and he jumps over this fucking fence or wall thing, and he ends up choking himself. Like, he jumps over and he starts choking. So now Danny remembers this, so they're running out there to go try to save the dog from like to stop choking himself. So they go and they get the dog, and eventually they get him down. The dog's okay, everyone, don't freak out, he's okay, he lives. And they do realize that the boathouse, the fucking doors are fucking opening and closing. And they're just kind of like, that's weird. And they're pretty sure that's what made the dog kind of like go after. Trip out to go over there. So, that happens. And I will say this. The very first person to start getting influenced by this entity or the vibrations in the house is George Lutz, because he like as soon as they go into the house, he just changes. Like, he starts getting up at 3:15 in the morning, and he just can't go back to sleep. So on the second night, he again wakes up at 3:15 in the morning, but this time he sees a shadow by the boathouse. So, he goes out there and he goes to chase it out to see, because like, maybe it's an intruder or something. So he goes out there, and when he's out at the boathouse, he doesn't see anything. So he's like, well, that's fucking weird. I swear I just saw something. But, he goes in, he locks it up, and he goes back home. But that's a reoccurring thing with George Lutz. He like after this, he just keeps waking up at 3:15 for no reason, like just waking up. So George starts acting a little weird. His wife starts noticing that he stops taking showers. Like, he doesn't take a shower. He's very unkempt, which is weird for him because previous to this, he used to be in the military. I think he was like I don't want to say, but yeah, he was in the military. He was part of the armed forces.
And now he's not bathing.
Yeah, he's not bathing, which is something that he's very good with staying clean and stuff like that. And
side note, like, have you seen those posts about? I guess some people believe that it's okay if you got in the pool that day for that to count as your shower.
No, that's never okay. You have to get in the shower and then take a shower when you get home.
Yeah.
You gotta wash that people pee off of you. Like, you're not gonna stay on that.
Yeah,
shit.
And the chlorine, the chemicals, like all of that, like.
Didn't we talk about this already?
I think so because I saw one post that said like, me and my wife just got into an argument, about if being in the pool counts as a bath for the day, and I don't know where she was raised, but it does. And I was just like, no, it doesn't.
Nope.
And so now I guess since that post, now there's like a whole thread, and there's a whole bunch of people pretty much saying that it does count as a bath. There are times when their kids got dirty and they just took them to the pool because it was faster.
No.
And it's like, no, your baby is not clean. Your child is not clean. Just because the marker washed off does not mean that they are clean. Like, that's not a bath. That's not a shower. You have to get home, get in the bath or shower, soap and water.
That's what I was
gonna
say.
Not soap.
I'm all like, was there soap? Because if there was no soap, Nope.
No, they're saying chlorine is soap. The chlorine will kill any bacteria or whatever that's on you. That's what they're saying. I'm like,
Listen,
that's crazy.
What I want to do
Never
is
in my life have I heard anything like that before.
What
I would get in the shower after getting out the pool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But this is what I want to see. These people who believe that, I want them to be in a pool, and then I want to, like in the famous words of Nicki Minaj, I want to pull my dick out and piss on it and see if they're going to want to fucking take it, like if they're not going to take a shower when they go home. I just want to know.
They're going to tell you, why don't you get in the waters? Like, the chlorine is going to kill the pee.
Because I want them to physically see that I'm doing it. Like, I don't want them to be like, oh, maybe she did. I'm like, no, y'all saw me pee on the pool.
Peeing in this pool. I don't know. I don't know. It's just like you see these posts on the internet, and I'm like, people are living vastly different lives than me. Like, when I was a kid and we would get in the pool, like you would, because we had, you know, a little pool in our yard.
Yeah.
You get out the pool, you eat, and then you go take a shower and put some different clothes on. Like,
yeah, definitely. It's like going to the beach.
Yeah, same. But you know what? Those same people who aren't bathing after the pool probably aren't.
Tell me that.
No, because I saw one that said, like, that was talking about the lake and stuff, too. And I'm like, there ain't no chlorine in the lake.
Listen.
So you really ain't bathing.
I can believe them at the beach, because at the beach is the easiest way to wash yourself, because they have those showers out there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that's still a shower after you've gotten out the water. What they're doing is they're getting out the water and they're going about their day.
No. Ew, that's gross. Please
gross,
take a
yeah.
shower when you get out of any bodies of water.
Yeah. Unless you took a bath.
Oh, yeah.
In a tub with soap and water. Any other body of water that's, you know, out in the world, you need
to shower. Please do this for the love of yourself.
That's why we struggling right now, because people's hygiene is not where we assume it is supposed to be at.
I know, like, people, you know what, it's
because this hand washing thing is giving people a struggle.
It's funny because, like, I'm wondering if the people who refuse to wear masks, if they're at least washing their hands.
They ain't. They think that the amount of times that they wash their hands is enough.
It's never enough. You can never get 100% clean of germs. But whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, like I said, George starts getting infected first. And, you know, on top of not taking care of himself, like, hygiene-wise, he starts to have, like, a really short fuse. And he is also starting to get really obsessed with this house's inability to get warm. So he'll go in there and he says this house is fucking cold. Like, their thermostat will be saying like 80, but he's like, nah, it fucking feels like 55 over here. So,
oh wow.
So he starts fucking obsessing over the. Were you gonna say something?
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that's even crazier because guys usually like it colder. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that he's like, it's freezing up in here, that says a lot. Yeah. Like, how cold was he feeling it?
Yeah, but it's crazy because at this point, I'm starting to wonder if it was, like, kind of, like, psychological. Because everyone else is like, yeah, it's cold, but they made it seem like he was kind of exaggerating. And
like, it's cold, but it ain't that cold.
Yeah, and he would be talking about having, like, fucking blankets on, fucking kept putting firewood in the fireplace and stuff like that. Let me tell you, in the book, it starts saying, so they're only there for about, so I didn't even say, the family only lasts in this household for 28 days, not even a full month, like a regular month.
They said the month of February.
Yeah.
We out.
The shortest month of the year. That's how long they took. But they only lasted 28 days.
So that means immediately this stuff started happening.
Yeah. And so I want to say, like, in the first, like, let's say the first 14 days or 16 days, they say that they go through a cord of wood. Do you know how much a cord of wood, is? No. Okay, I didn't either. I looked it up because I was like, how much is that? Yeah. So a quart.
I'm like, what's a quart of wood? Like, okay. That's not a liquid. It's not a quart of juice.
No, a cord, like CORD.
Oh, cord. Oh, is it like the bundle?
Yeah, like a bundle, but it's more than a bundle. Okay, now picture a fucking box that's
Mm-hmm.
4 feet high and 8 feet long,
Okay.
and
Okay.
all that is filled with firewood.
Jeez.
They went,
So it should have been hot in there at that point.
yeah, which it wasn't. That was the issue. Like they were like, there's a point where everyone starts getting bothered by the cold, but like he was the first one to start feeling it, and they go through that much wood in in 2 weeks. Like that shit should have lasted like at least I would say like
The whole
a month.
winter.
A whole winter. I don't think a whole winter, but maybe like a month or like 2 months. I don't know. If any of you guys have a firewood and y'all know what a fucking cord is, how long does it last you guys? And is this abnormal? Because it sounds like it's abnormal.
You said it was 8 feet.
8 feet like
8
long,
feet
way.
long.
4 feet high.
And 4 feet high.
Yeah.
That's a lot of wood.
Yeah,
That's
and
a lot of wood.
exactly. So that's like one of his big things: keeping a fire running. So, all this weird stuff kind of starts happening, but both George and Kathleen kind of have a thing where they don't want to, like, tell each other
Talk
about
about
it.
it?
Yeah, because I guess they think, like, one of them's going to be, like, thinking you're crazy. And so...
See, I would have that same problem, but not in that sense. Me, if something like that started happening, I would ignore it because I'm like, if we pay attention to it, it'll get worse.
Which
And
they
so
were.
I probably wouldn't say anything for the longest, or I wouldn't say anything about it in the house.
Yeah, definitely. Which they were. Like, they weren't saying anything about it. They were just kind of going through, their day. So, mind you, they have only been at this house, like, not even fucking 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, like, the family... Oh, hold on. Okay. So, one of the first things that happens in the house is that Kathleen Lutz feels something supernatural. One of the first things she starts having a sensation of is that someone comes, like, she's in the kitchen and someone comes up from behind her and, like, they hug her from the back. And then she feels like someone put their hand on her hand. Mind you, she's in the kitchen by herself.
Ooh.
So she's being touched by an invisible...
I would have started swatting. Like, who is this? Get your hand, unhand me.
Unhand me, wench.
Like, she's just standing there like, what is going on?
But,
Me,
like...
I would have started panicking.
But listen, Kim, if you go by what you're saying, you can't even acknowledge it. You just have to be like...
I would have acknowledged it that day. Somebody has touched me. Where to say, Jad? This is not it. This is not it.
Bring out the
like
Palo
that movie.
Santo.
Have you? I swear I seen it with you, but I might not have. That movie, The Entity,
Yeah.
where that lady's being sexually assaulted
Yep.
by the ghost. That'd have been my first thought, and I would have started panicking. I probably would have ran out the house. Like, I don't be running. That would have been an occasion where I would have run.
Girl. So
I'm
yeah.
like, I ain't being touched, and I can't see who is doing it. I gotta get out of here.
Girl. But she ignores it because she's like, fuck it, I'm not going to fucking
Give it power.
well, I don't even think it was like, I feel like she didn't even want to acknowledge it because she didn't even know what the fuck happened. Like, she's like,
Yeah.
am I going fucking crazy? Like, what the fuck is happening? Which is a reoccurring theme with everyone because I feel like they all at some point think that they're going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's the first thing that kind of happens to Kathleen. But like I said, she don't tell nobody. After this happens, like I said, not only was George kind of getting affected, but Kathleen starts getting affected. Kathleen, whatever her name is, she also starts getting affected. And she doesn't realize it at first, because I think at first she just sees George kind of changing, but she does too. And she also starts having like a short fuse. So there's a night where the kids are playing, right? Because they have that playroom upstairs, and the kids are playing and they accidentally crack a window, and both George and Kathleen Lutz go fucking ballistic. They end up beating all three of their kids with a wooden spoon, and they say a strap, but I think strap is like PG or G version of a fucking belt. Like, they fucking whoop the shit out of these kids and they hit them with spoons. So
And they both was like, choose your weapon, and then just
You're like, wooden spoon. Dun, dun, dun. Next player. Player B. Belt. Dun, dun, dun.
Belt. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Because that's basically what happened. Like, they
Yeah.
both grabbed something and then
Beat the kids.
got
with it.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sucks, which could be traumatizing. Like, these kids are just playing. They're just having a good time. And they come over here and they fuck up the day. Which, as a child who's been beaten with the wooden spoon and a fucking belt, I know the feeling. Like, it fucking sucks. So I feel bad for them, but, like, did they deserve it? I don't think so. Like, kids will be kids. Like, I remember when I was little, that big ass window we have in my parents' house?
In the living room?
In the living room?
Or what is that, the kitchen?
No, the living room, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've broken that before. And, I can or cannot remember if we did or did not get smacked, which I'm sure we did, because after that day, we were extra careful to not play by that window. So
You lost some time.
I lost some time.
Dang.
Maybe they
your
came
mom
at
was
me.
like, I'm tired of these kids. And she just started hitting all of y'all. And y'all was getting knocked out left and right.
You know what? I think this is a time where it was just me and Israel. I think it was just us two, I think.
Oh, dang. And she just... all y'all remember was, be careful with this window from now on.
We ain't fucking with this shit. Like, but I'm sure they remember that thing too, because I'm like, same, bro. Bros and sisters, same. But, so, that happens. And then, I guess, the mom kind of thinks about it. She does feel bad about it, but, that shit already happened. So.
Yeah, it was in the past.
Yeah, in the past. So, I don't know if it was the next day or a few days afterwards, but the kids start yelling for their mom. So, she goes and she's checking out what's going on. And all of a sudden, they're telling her the toilet is black. And she's like, what do you mean the toilet is black? So she goes and she looks in the bathroom, and the porcelain of the inside of the toilet bowl is black.
Mm-hmm.
The water is clear, but there seems to be like
The bowl itself is black
Yeah,
for some reason on the
yeah,
inside.
like it's like some black stuff was leaking on it. Like it was like black dye or something like that. So
Oh, like it's like the cleaner that you would put in.
yeah,
toilet,
like
but it's
yeah,
black.
yeah. Just pretend we were like putting the cleaner in there, except it's black. Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the mom, feeling bad for what happened, doesn't, she doesn't say anything. Like, she gets mad and she's like, did you guys put paint in here? And they're like, no, we didn't. It was just like this. So she didn't really do anything. And the kids get scared. They look at her like, please don't beat us, mommy. And she's
They're like, we didn't do it.
like, we didn't do it. So she believes them. And I guess it was probably like her experiences and stuff like that, combined with the guilt of what they had done to their kids and stuff like that, that she doesn't, do anything. But she tells the oldest brother, Danny, to go to her bathroom and get the bleach.
Mm-hmm.
So the kid runs over there and, he goes over there. And all of a sudden, he's like, Mom! And she's like, what's wrong? It's in the bottom cupboard. And he's like, it's down here, but that shit is on your toilet too. And it smells like shit in here. So she goes over there. And she goes, and sure enough, her toilet is fucking black too. And it smells like
Bad.
fucking shit over there. And she's like, they're coughing and shit like that. So now she calls George. George comes upstairs. And George sees it, and he's like, holy shit, open the fucking windows. It stinks up in here. So they open it, and, the dad gets mad. He's like, it had to be one of the kids. There's no other explanation. And the mom's like, no, I don't think it was them, blah, 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 blah. End of the story. She tries to clean that shit. It's fucking hard to get off. But after a few days, she gets it off. But it comes back eventually, but, whatever.
Dang, she scrubbed both of those toilets?
I think she had to scrub all the porcelain in the bathrooms. Because it ends up, on the sinks, too. And I think in the tubs.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But she has to clean it all, which, granted, I'd be pissed. Because I don't want to be getting on my hands and knees to fucking be cleaning no fucking... It's annoying.
I'd be like, everybody grab some bleach. Everybody pick a spot. We all cleaning.
Yep. So that happens. And then another thing that happens in the house is the famous sewing room. one day, for some reason, they go into the room, and there are hundreds of flies in that room. And it's weird because this is December. It's fucking cold as fuck. Usually around this time, there's no flies. You know, they're hibernating or doing whatever fucking flies do on Christmas. And, you know, they're just chilling, right? And so...
Whatever flies do on Christmas.
So... they go and they just think it's so like weird, and not only are there flies in here, but it smells like shit in here too. So, you know, they go in there and they start like smacking, trying to get rid of the flies. So that's one thing that happens.
Wait, what room was this again?
The sewing room. So this is the room.
The sewing room.
So this is the
That was the room that the priest said not to go in, right?
Yeah, that's the one that he was telling people not to. That's where he got bitch slapped. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, so that happened there. I think this is when the flies first started getting mentioned, because I think in the movie, as soon as Father Marcusio is what they call him in the movie, as soon as he walks in there, they're flies. But I think that happens on whatever day they saw the flies, not when the priest gets there.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing that ends up happening at this house is, I guess one night, what's his name? George Lutz gets up. I want to say it was like at 3:15 in the morning, and, you know, nothing weird is kind of happening or anything like that, but he can't go back to sleep. And, you know, when he can't go back to sleep, and he decides to go venture around the house. So he ventures around the house, and all of a sudden he finds the front door, which is a heavy wooden door. He finds it pulled from his hinges, and nobody heard.
Pulled from its hinges?
Pulled from, like, someone fucking kicked that shit out of the house. Like, pulled from his hinges. And he woke up just because he woke up, you know what I mean? And he goes, he checks on the family, everyone's fucking asleep, nothing's really going on. And he's just like, what the fuck? And, you know, he has to go in there and, you know, put it, like, it wasn't, like, the way they describe it in the book, it's not like it was completely, like, broken off. Somehow he's able to put it back in. But just, like, the sheer force it should have taken to just push it like that, everyone in the house should have heard. But nobody did.
Yeah.
That starts happening. And, yeah, that starts happening. Another thing that just mysteriously starts happening when they're all there is they start realizing that everyone in the family starts sleeping on their stomachs, which is something that the family has never done. Usually everyone in the family is, like, back sleepers or, like, side sleepers, but they usually don't sleep on their stomachs. But as they're you know how I'm telling you, fucking what's his name, George wakes up randomly at 3:15 in the morning. He goes and checks on his family, and they're all sleeping on their stomachs, and he's looking like, y'all never done this before, like, what the hell? But, you know, that's just a weird coincidence that they start realizing.
But it is weird. You walk around, everybody in your family is face down, like,
yeah, face down, just
on the bed.
Even his wife Kathy, which he sleeps with, obviously he sleeps with her. But anyway, like, you know, like, she starts doing it too, and she starts realizing it too. Like, she starts seeing George sleeping face down too, and she walks around and she sees the kids too. And it is something that they eventually discuss. They're like, hey, have you noticed that we've all been sleeping on our stomachs? Like, yeah, that's weird, huh? They're like, yeah. But, you know, whatever. They move on. They start realizing that Missy, the 5-year-old, I want to say she starts acting not weird, just like, she just starts acting a little, well, I guess, yeah, acting fucking weird. Yeah. So they start, like, hearing that Missy is starting to hum this really weird song, and they don't know where she got it from. Like, they're like, when they hear her humming, they think she just made it up, but it's weird because she hasn't really hummed anything like that before. And so this is the mom's the one who realizes. The mom's the one who hears a humming, and randomly Missy asks her mom, do angels exist? And her mom's like, what the fuck? Like, and it just kind of, like, throws her off. Like, what do you mean, do angels exist? She's like, yeah, I just want to know if angels exist. And the mom's all like, let me get back to you on that. Let me talk to your dad. So they kind of leave that on the, you know, in the back burner. And all of a sudden, the boys start fighting upstairs, like, while she's talking to Missy. And she just hears, like, So, she runs upstairs to see what's going on, and she just finds the boys rolling on the floor, just, fighting. And, she's like, she makes them cut it out, and she's like, what happened? What started the fight? And as soon as she asks that question, like, the look on both the boys just kind of, like, drops. Like, like they're scared, and they don't want to say. So she realizes how, like, scared they look, that she just kind of drops. She's like, y'all don't gotta tell me, just cut it out. And they're like, okay. So they cut it out.
So why were they fighting?
They don't say.
They never say?
They never say. They don't say. She just notices that it's so weird that they look scared when she asks them, so what started the fight?
Oh, so she was just like, you know what? We don't need to know.
What I'm thinking is that this, like, demon had, like, some of that Solar Warden energy stored in there, and he's like, I want to see you two fight. And they're like, they're like, I don't know what to do, so like, let's just fight, let's appease.
They just looked at each other and just started fighting. They didn't know why.
Yeah, so obviously they didn't tell their mom, because, like, we're not gonna tell them, like, the fucking demon over here told us to do it.
Yeah, how do you explain that?
So yeah, so they just start fighting. Some other weird stuff that starts happening in the house is they have this really nice, like, cross, and they just start finding it, like, upside down. And the mom's just like, how is our cross going upside down without us fucking touching it? But, like everything else, she's like, you know what, just drop it. It's just the house getting used to us. So, they keep going. So, like I said, they start realizing that some weird stuff is happening. So they try to get in touch with the priest again. But they start realizing when they call the priest, they just keep, like, they're able to talk at first. Like, when they first were on the phone, they started talking. And they're like, oh, how are you doing? Blah, blah. Just, like, nice small talk. But when they start asking the priest that they need some help because some weird stuff is happening, they start getting static. Like, the phones just stop working. And it comes to a point where they cannot reach each other at all. Like, there are points where the Lutzes are trying to call the priest, and he'll answer, but all they get is static. There'll be times where the father is trying to call them, and he just keeps getting the static. So it's like something doesn't want them to, like, communicate. And it starts, like, even the father, he starts getting some weird shit happening to him. Like, one day he answers the phone, and he's telling them about, like, not being in the house and stuff like that, and the phone just goes, like, shh, and his hand starts to burn and blister. And he, like, from the first day he leaves the Lutz house, he ends up getting a flu that lasts, like, I want to say, like, 3 months. He ends up getting pneumonia. Like, this dude's just getting fucked. Like, it just sucks.
You said 3 months?
I want to say it's, like, 3 months. Like,
after they moved out?
Yeah, for a long time, he has, health issues after he went into the house. And it's so bad that the father is scared of the house too, but he just doesn't know how to, like, rationalize it. Like, he just catches himself thinking about the house and thinking about them, and he's just like, well, that sucks. And he just keeps going just because he's scared,
Yeah.
Now, Kathy starts just randomly dreaming about the DeFeo murders. And she'll wake up and she's screaming about people getting shot and shit like that. And it gets to a point where she starts saying things that happened that they never disclosed, like, on the newspapers or anything.
Oh, so
like that.
She's seeing it.
Yeah.
She's seeing it happen.
Yeah, she's seeing the murders happen. And
okay, so what did she see? What did she say she saw?
I think what she says is that she, like, is witnessing what happened, like the guy with the shotgun, and, like, they're getting shot. That's all he's seeing. Is like, he's shooting them and stuff like that. So
so she doesn't see if the sister shot one person or
no,
if it was the tag team effort like we thought.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't show.
I'm like, she could have solved this right now.
Right now, we could have had a fucking.
Did they really have that awkward ancestral relationship?
Tune in next time. I don't know.
I know. It's like, did she see it? Imagine if she's seen them arguing.
I know. Oh my god.
And you see the sister with the gun too. Like,
shit, that'd be crazy. But yeah, she doesn't say. She just, like, dreams of the way they were murdered and just certain like things that there's no reason she should know. Yeah. Another thing she starts dreaming about is about Mrs. DeFeo. She starts having dreams about her having sex with another man that is not her husband.
Oh, she was having an affair.
She definitely was having an affair. And you want to know why?
Why?
There's a point where the kids are young that she disappears from the family and then she comes back. And then before they all get murdered, Mr. DeFeo had paintings done of the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
But in the paintings, Mrs. DeFeo's not on it.
Oh, was she not around at that time?
I guess not. But I think there is evidence supporting that Miss DeFeo definitely was having an affair for Mr. DeFeo, which is probably one of the reasons why he was smacking her around, which is not okay.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess that must have been a reason. Other than him,
and it could have been the other way around.
Too. Oh yeah, I'm sure he was having affairs too. We just don't know.
No. I mean, like, he could have been hitting her, and that's why she was seeking someone else.
Definitely, I can definitely see that happening. Like, I have to tell you about it later. Back to this. So she starts having dreams about the steamy affair, right?
Oh, what if it wasn't the son? What if it was her lover came in and killed everybody?
Maybe. You know what?
There's so many theories. It could have been anybody.
Yeah, it could have been anything. It could have been the demon who had the gun too.
I know, but it's like, why show her these images of the mom having an affair if it wasn't important?
That's true.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it like it's a movie. Like they're showing us the important parts of the story.
We're seeing it from the demon's perspective.
He's like, no, you guys forgot this part with an investigation.
Y'all forgot she was cheating on her man.
Images. Y'all got it all wrong. It wasn't the son. It was the Sancho came in and was just tired of all of them and killed everyone.
You know what's funny? There's a point in the book where where George starts thinking that the entity is doing so. You're gonna, when I tell you the story, there's gonna be a lot of points where I talk about him going to the boathouse because weird shit's happening in the boathouse. And there's a time where he's driving and he's like, maybe, because you know, there's a big thing about the DeFeos and how they had money hidden in the house. So
okay,
he's thinking, he's like, maybe this demon is trying, or this, it's not even a demon, maybe it's the spirit of Mr. DeFeo trying to show me where the money's at so I can, you know, keep the house and live lavishly and stuff like that. So there's a point where he starts thinking that.
Yeah, because isn't it, I don't know how much of it's true, because isn't it in the movie they find like a room, like a hidden room in the
red
house?
room. I will talk about the red room.
Okay.
It is coming.
Okay. Is that a real room in the house?
Yes. There's a red room that was, to them, hidden and not part of the house diagrams. But I'll tell you when I get there. When I get to the red room, tell me to give you the info. All right.
Okay.
So around 3:15, Mr. Lutz wakes up on schedule, and you know the same thing. Does the same thing. He goes to the boathouse because he just feels the need to go to the boathouse. Goes to the boathouse, checks it out. Everything, like, I think he realized that the boathouse wasn't locked, and here he specifically remembers locking it, but he had to relock it. And all of a sudden, he looks out to his house, and he looks up to the second story. Right. He's looking up to the second story. It's because I keep looking straight because the computer screen is there, but I'm like, no, wait, you're down here.
No, but then the part that was already funny was that you're like pointing, like the objects are in your room already. So I'm like, okay, she getting into it. And then this whole episode, you've been facing away from me. You turned and like made eye contact with me.
Sorry.
I was like, oh, wow.
So anyway, hold on, let me get back into character. So he's up looking out at the second story window, right? And he looks at the second story window, and all of a sudden he sees Missy looking out at him at, like, let's say it's like fucking almost 4 a.m. She's out there looking out the window at him. And all of a sudden he looks behind her and he sees a pig. A pig?
Oh, no.
Yeah, a pig. A pig man.
A cartoon one? Is it a cartoon one?
He doesn't describe it as a cartoon, but the older brother Danny, he describes it as a cartoon looking pig with like what is it, like sharp coyote teeth or something like that. But
Yeah, because I've heard stories, and it's always a bad sign if you see a cartoon pig.
oh,
Like, I don't know what that means, but I know there's been a couple of different like hauntings or like demonic entity like situations, and where that has happened, where people involved had seen a cartoon looking pig, and then it just goes downhill from there.
oof, yeah.
You
'cause
see
it does
something
go
like that,
downhill.
you gotta go.
Mhm.
Just leave.
Shit.
That's not the place where you want to be.
So he's looking up.
Second story window, Missy, pig.
Yes. So he's like, holy shit! So he bones out of there, right? And he starts running up the stairs, and he goes up to her bedroom. And when he opens the door, she's in her bed sleeping. She's not even awake. And on top of that, there's a rocking chair in Missy's room, and it's fucking rocking. Yes, it's fucking rocking. Yes. So, meet Jody. That's my notes. Meet Jody. So, all of a sudden, I guess Missy starts telling her mom about her imaginary friend Jody. And she tells her...
Was Jody the name of any of the family members?
No, Jody...
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember that name.
Yeah, no. It's her imaginary friend. And she tells her mom that Jody lives in the sewing room. But you know, the mom kind of knocked it out just like as like a kid having an imaginary friend, because you know she's 5. You know, kids have imaginary friends, so she just kind of put it as that. So you know, she puts it under the back burner. But I will say that she does tell her mom that Jody is a pig, and no one could see him except for her, and they are friends. But like I said,
Jody is a guy.
huh?
Jody's a guy.
Yeah, he's a guy. And like I said, she keeps it in the back burner. She doesn't say anything, because if she would have, Mr. Lewis would have been like, I saw a pig up in that bitch. But like I said, they're not talking about it, so you know, it's something that they both know about, but they don't know each other knows, you know? Yeah. While they're moved in this house, Kathleen has a brother, and he's getting married, right? So he goes over to their house. I guess George is the best man or whatever. So he goes to their house. He has a fucking envelope with $1,500 in it, and he's supposed to have that money to pay the caterer. And everyone sees him with the fucking envelope with the money, and he puts it in his pocket, right? Tell me why, like, 5 minutes later, the envelope is gone. The money is gone. There is no money in the household. They look everywhere. They cannot find it. It's just fucking missing. So they just decide that they're going to have to pay for it some other way. So George, knowing that he's going to have to go to the church, he starts feeling sick. And when he goes to the church, he says as soon as he steps into the church, he starts feeling worse, like really, really queasy, like so bad. So you know it's a bad sign if you're getting sick when you go into church. Well, yeah, that's that about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. I know this is a long one. It's probably going to be 2 episodes. We're going to see if we can cut it down to be shorter, but there was just a lot. But yeah, thanks again for all your support. Thank you for all our new listeners. We really appreciate you guys. We have so much fun doing these episodes, and we hope you guys stick it out with us. So thanks for joining us on Item 9 Podcast. This is Hyra.
And Kim.
And don't forget, you're the bee's knees.
Item 9.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Toodles.